Anytime that you are going to be painting, the first thing you need to do is to make sure that you have painting paper, which is a heavier weight paper than some of the other papers that we may use in the art room. And it is labeled where you find it. First, you need to write your name on the paper. If you don't want it to be part of your painting, then just write it in pencil and turn your paper over. If you would like it to be part of your painting, feel free to write with a Sharpie on the front or with a pencil on the front. Then we're going to choose our paint. Let's start with watercolors first. Now, sometimes artists will see a set like this where there's no paint in the center of some of the wells and decide, oh, this is empty, this isn't a good set. But actually, this set is perfectly fine. All it needs to work is water. So I'm going to take, because I'm loading it up with water, I'm going to use my largest brush because it will hold the most water. And I'm going to get lots of water on there and just let it drip into those pans that I'm going to use. I'm not dipping the brush into those colors, so it's not getting dirty. I'm just kind of shaking a little bit of water into those sets. Now what happens is the water soaks up the pigment that's all around the edges of that pan, and I can help it along with the very tip of my paintbrush just by stirring it around. My brush is not even bending as I have it in the paint. I'm not scooping it out. I'm not scrubbing it. I'm just very gently swirling the tip of the paintbrush around in that well of paint. And you can see what happens on my paper. When I've done that, I have plenty of paint on my brush to begin painting. Now, this is what watercolor should look like on your paper. It should not be thick and gummy and bright. It should be a transparent color. You can see the white of the paper showing through. If I'm ready to change colors, I need to use my paper towel, which is on our painting setup menu. So it should be something that's at your table already before you get started. Whether you take a whole roll of it, if you've picked up an end roll, or if you've just got a piece like this. So then I take and I paint the extra blue onto my paper towel. I wash my brush in the water just by gently brushing the bottom of the water cup. I'm not splashing water out, not swirling it around. I'm just brushing the bottom of the cup very gently. I want plenty of water still on my brush, and I can go to my next paint color. In this case, I'm going to do the same thing with the red, which also looked empty before, but we can see now it actually isn't empty at all, just in the center. And you see when I overlap my blue, I can even mix those colors a little bit, wet on wet. So now I'm ready to clean my brush again, brush that paint onto my paper towel, wash my brush in the water, and I can move on to the next color, the next item. Tempera cakes are a lot brighter colors, and unfortunately some of these have been mixed up. So I can show you how to fix that in another video. But right now I'll just get some of this purple over here. Just the very tip of my paintbrush is touching the paint. I'm just swirling it around gently, and you can see, look at how much brighter that color is on my paper. The cool thing also about tempera is after it dries, well, this also works with watercolor actually. After it dries, you can go back in and layer more on it. But what happens actually if I go back here, load my brush again, take a look, it's even brighter. This kind of paint can be very bright. You can layer that paint on nice and thick. This is where you get that solid opaque color that really covers your paper. It's not going to ever get gummy or gooey or sticky like the watercolors can if you're putting those on too thick. With this, we can put it on nice and dark. Again, if you're going to change colors, paint the extra color onto your paper towel and then wash it in the water. To mix colors in the palette, you load your brush with the color you want, roll it off onto the palette, clean your brush, get the next color that you'd like to add, stir it together in the palette, and you're ready to paint with the new color that you've created. That's how we use our brushes